Hello folks, Rob Dreemeyer here. Welcome to Broadway Barfly. Today we're making a Black Russian cocktail and talking about the show Call Me Madam.
If you're a theater fan who loves a great cocktail, click that subscribe button because Broadway Barfly is the channel for you.
In 1949, Ethel Merman and her family were vacationing with the writer Howard Lindsay and his family. And so the story goes, one day by the pool, Lindsay noticed that Merman was reading a magazine article about Perle Mesta. Perle Mesta was a well-known Washington, D.C. socialite famous for her parties. She was known as the hostess with the mostest and had just been appointed ambassador to Luxembourg by President Harry Truman. It dawned on Lindsay that a colorful character like Mesta would make a great role for Ethel Merman to play on Broadway, so he proposed the idea to her. And she said, "Who's Perle Mesta?" Well, Howard Lindsay and his writing partner Russell Crouse knew that it was a good idea, so they took the idea to the composer Irving Berlin, who had written the score to Annie Get Your Gun just a few years earlier, and of course Ethel Merman was the star of that show. He also thought it was a great idea, so the men got down to work on the show that would become Call Me Madam. Call Me Madam is a light-hearted satire about American politics and foreign relations in the years following World War II. The central character is Mrs. Sally Adams, a well-known Washington, D.C. socialite famous for her parties, who's just been appointed ambassador to Lichtenburg by President Harry Truman. Sally Adams is a brassy American. She's out of step with the protocol of her diplomatic office, but she's quick to point out to people that they should call her Madam. The plot revolves around this central question of whether or not Lichtenburg will accept an American loan. They are a proud country, but also a poor country, and we learned from one of Irving Berlin's lyrics that babies and cheese are their main industries. Call Me Madam opened on Broadway in October of 1950 with an advance sale of $2 million. That was a record-breaking number for the time. The show did become the hit it promised to be. It played for over 600 performances on Broadway. There was a production in London's West End, and there was also a national tour that starred Elaine Stritch. Elaine Stritch was also Ethel Merman's understudy for the role of Sally Adams on Broadway. You may remember Elaine Stritch from our recent video where we talk about the musical company and we make a vodka stinger. The vodka stinger is referenced in the lyric of Elaine Stritch's big 11 o'clock number from that show, The Ladies Who Lunch. In Stritch's one-woman show at Liberty, she told a very funny story about standing by for Ethel Merman on Broadway while simultaneously playing a role of her own in a revival of the musical Pal Joey that was trying out in New Haven, Connecticut. I won't relay the story here, but I do highly recommend you check out Elaine Stritch at Liberty if you've not seen it. There's an excellent recording of it that's available, and this Call Me Madam story is a crown jewel in this really magnificent show. Before committing to Call Me Madam, Ethel Merman was very vocal about not wanting to do another musical. She wanted to focus on acting. But we can only imagine that she was very happy with her decision because she won her one and only Tony Award for her performance as Sally Adams. And she was also able to recreate the role in the 1953 film version of the show. And this was one of only two opportunities Ethel Merman had in her career to recreate her stage performance on film. Our cocktail, the Black Russian, isn't actually seen in the show, nor is it referenced in any of the song lyrics, but it does have a very direct connection to Call Me Madam, and that connection is Perle Mesta. Mesta was the daughter of a wealthy Oklahoma oil man, and she married a wealthy steel manufacturer from Pennsylvania. She was widowed after only 9 years of marriage, and she was the sole heir to her husband's estate, and he left behind a fortune that would have been valued at over $1 billion in today's economy. She tried settling down in Pittsburgh and Newport, Rhode Island, but she found that she really didn't fit in with high society in either of those places. She became involved in political fundraising and eventually made her home in Washington, D.C., where she became famous for throwing lavish parties. Someone once said they were parties people actually wanted to go to. In 1949, President Harry Truman was serving his first year of his second term in office, and he appointed Pearl Mesta as ambassador to Luxembourg. It was a purely political appointment because the U.S. had never had an ambassador in Luxembourg before. But it was a good call because at that point, Luxembourg had a booming steel industry, something Mesta was familiar with because it was her husband's industry, and she was also able to use her hostessing skills to entertain troops who were still stationed in Europe after the war. During her time in Luxembourg, she was known to frequent the uber-luxurious Hotel Metropole in Brussels. The head barman there, a man named Gustave Tops, was fairly well known in his day in his circle, and he decided to honor her with a signature cocktail. He took Kahlua, which is a coffee liqueur and something he knew she was fond of, combined it with vodka, and created the Black Russian. Now you may wonder, like I did, why didn't he just call it the Black Pearl? Kahlua gives the cocktail its dark blackish color, and at that time vodka was very closely associated with Russia. And these were the early years of the Cold War, something that Mesta no doubt faced on a day-to-day basis while representing American interests in Europe at that time. So perhaps the Black Russian is the better name for this ominous-looking and potent cocktail. The Black Russian is a really simple cocktail to make. We only need 2 ingredients. We need our vodka and Kahlua, though you can use any type of coffee liqueur you prefer. I'm actually using a homemade version I made myself. I posted a video a while back demonstrating how it's made, and if you haven't already seen that video, I hope you'll check it out because I think you'll be surprised at just how easy it is to make. I will confess, though, that it's a bit of a Kahlua hack because it's made with instant espresso. But I like to share the recipe with people because the results are surprisingly good. And also, it doesn't cost a whole lot to make, certainly less than it would cost to buy a bottle of some commercial product. And I think that's important. I think we should all be able to treat ourselves to these little luxuries once in a while and not have to wait around until we inherit a billion-dollar fortune just to enjoy an after-dinner drink. This is a cocktail we make right in the glass. And we start with 1 part or 1 ounce of our Kahlua and 2 ounces or 2 parts of our vodka. We'll add some ice. I'm using a big piece of round ice. And then we give this a stir to chill and combine. And that's it. We've just made our Black Russian. So thank you as always for spending your time with us here at Broadway Barfly. If you're new to the channel, I hope you'll consider subscribing. And don't be bashful. Leave a comment below, introduce yourself, and let me know your thoughts. I always enjoy reading them. So until the next time, cheers.
If you enjoyed the video, why not give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends? Feel free to leave your comments and click that subscribe button because there's a lot more Broadway Barfly to come.